Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for another stream. This is the FPL team selection stream for Double Gameweek 22. So we hope everyone's well. And also, yeah, Jordan, how you doing? Everything good?
Yeah, I'm very well. Hope everyone else is doing good so far. Feels like it's been ages since we streamed, but yeah, it's very exciting. Another double game week and a very interesting team selection to talk about.
Yeah, the transfer window is the final day now. We had a few departures of some players as well, so we'll get into it all and talk about our teams for Game Week 22, and also look ahead as well for the rest of the season. But yeah, let's get started. I think we're going to speak about Game Week 21 first, aren't we?
Yeah,
As usual. Yeah, feels like ages ago when Game Week 21. I don't know about you. It feels like it was
it does.
months ago.
It feels very long time ago.
Yeah. All right, let's bring up our teams from Game Week 21 and go through it all. So yeah, it's been a while. So Game Week 21. So this is how I finished. So in goal, I had Danny Ward, who got me 1 point. I had a back three of Trippier, who got me 8 points, which was nice. We know White 0 points, and then Luke Shaw also got 0 points due to both of them conceding. And other than that, the defense wasn't great, really. Apart from Trippier. Moving on to the 5 in midfield, I had Mason Mount, who got me 3 points. Kevin De Bruyne, who did get the assist, I think, in the game. Saka obviously scored against Man United, which was nice. Him getting me the 9-pointer. Martinelli blanked 2 points. Rashford did score, so that was nice to see 7 points from him. And we know Haaland with his hat trick. I did captain him as well in a single game week against Wolves, I think it was again. And he goes and scores a 34-point, haul. So very nice from Haaland. And finally, I have Mitrovic 2-pointer as well to finish off the team. It was a green arrow for me. I think it was a small green arrow. 72 points overall for me in Game Week 21. Current total points of 1,204. I am up to 1.6 million, which is not great, but it's been one of those. It's been a tough season for me so far. And yeah, hopefully I can climb up the rank from Game Week 22 onwards. So that is the team for Game Week 21. Jordan, I'll bring up your team and just talk us through how you went your Game Week 21.
Yeah, so just a quick recap on game week 21 for me. We'll start off with Edison in goal, who did get the clean sheet and got 6 points. Yeah, nice Man City clean sheet there, finally. Not many this season. Moving on to the back three, we've got Trippier with the 8-pointer, another clean sheet for Newcastle, and more points for Trippier on top of that bonus as well. We've got Lewis Dunk, who I did transfer in, just a 1-pointer from him. Brighton did concede in their game. Luke Shaw, obviously 0 points, 4 goals conceded against him, so not much to talk about there. Moving on to the midfield 5, we've got Martinelli, who had a blank in his game, nothing from him, very quiet. Same with Almiron, 3-pointer from him, yeah, quiet as well, blank again. Moving on to the Man United duo, Fernandes and Rashford, a few returns from there. Fernandes got an assist, which gave him the 5 points. Rashford scored, so he got 7. Last midfielder, Rodrigo, quiet, another blank from him, only the 2 points. And finally, the front two, Haaland with his hat trick against Wolves, which was 34 with the captaincy over him. And Tony, who did get only a yellow card in that game, which led to him only getting 1 point. And yeah, team bench, Ward got 1 point. Nketiah with the massive double haul of 13, scoring 2 against Man United, surprisingly. Ben White, 0 points. Ben Mee got 6 points with the Brentford clean sheet. And it's a slight red arrow for me, 545k I've dropped down to. But it was a very tough week, not many returns overall. But I did get 69 points, which was considerably high. I think most of it, well, almost half of it was from Haaland getting his hat trick. So I'd say that pretty much saved the game week for me. And yeah, a total of 1,258 points. And that's a little recap on how my Game Week 21 team went.
Okay, thank you for that. Just gonna read a few comments out. If you guys are still watching the stream, if you just joined, sorry, make sure you drop a like and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We've got Dan Hilton in the chat, evening guys, and also got Michael Parkus. We've got Manish as well, who says Sabitzer to Man United confirmed. We'll talk about all of that. Also the Cancelo stuff, which is quite big for my team anyway. As a Cancelo owner, we will talk about that as well. But yeah, let's get into game week 22, double game week 22, and let's see how my team's lining up. So moving on. As you can see, I've got quite a few things to sort out in my team. So this is currently what I look like for game week 22. So in goal, I have Danny Ward, who's got Aston Villa away. I'm not keen on Leicester. I went with Leicester goalkeepers during the game week 17 wildcard draft. See, when we got unlimited transfers, I bought in the Leicester goalies to save money, and it hasn't worked out so far. Leicester haven't got any single clean sheet since game week 17, so that's not paid off at all. They've got Villa next. I'm not confident, but I'm not going to change my goalkeeper now. I've gone with it, and I've got to stick with it now. So hopefully they can get something. Moving on to the back three, we know about Cancelo, as Dan pointed out earlier in the chat. Cancelo has gone on loan to Bayern Munich, which maybe comes as a surprise, as a shock when it dropped. I think me and Jordan have mentioned quite a few times there's something strange happening with Cancelo and Pep deciding to bench him, especially in the Arsenal FA Cup game, because we thought, he's benched him before that. Surely he gets the FA Cup game, but then that was kind of the final straw. And I think obviously Cancelo leaving now in a lot of teams, so he's gonna have to be transferred out. So he is priority. Cancelo has to go out my team. I also got Trippier. West Ham at home, not much to say. Hopefully can keep another clean sheet. Luke Shaw, who does have a double game week. As we know, Manchester United play Palace and Leeds at home for a very nice fixture. I can potentially see 2 clean sheets here for Luke Shaw. So, if you don't have Luke Shaw, I would definitely be looking to bring him in. I think he's got a good chance of getting, 2 clean sheets in those games. Moving on to my midfield. Mason Mount has Fulham at home. Now, I am considering taking Mason Mount out for those that don't know my transfer plans. He's got Fulham at home. I think it's a nice fixture for Chelsea, potentially, but Fulham is also a tough game. So it's one of those that can go either way. I wouldn't be surprised if Fulham got something. So Mount probably will be taken out my team. It's been a bit frustrating having him in my team in recent weeks. But Chelsea are going crazy in the transfer market, buying loads of players. They might buy Enzo Fernandez by the end of today. So we'll have to see if that goes through, and if what happens with Chelsea in their team, because they've signed a bunch of players now. I've also got Kevin De Bruyne at Tottenham away. I think I'm going to keep Kevin De Bruyne. I don't think his fixture is great this week against Tottenham, but it is more with the eye to game week 23 when he's got a double game week. So the reason I'm going to keep De Bruyne is literally because of that double. Otherwise, I would probably be looking to move him out because he might be a bit of a differential for me next week. So I'm loath to keep him for now. Saka and Martinelli, they both have Everton away. I think that's a pretty nice fixture for Arsenal. I expect them to win. I expect them to put, a few goals past Everton as well. Everton are struggling in the relegation zone. Arsenal on fire. And hopefully Saka can get me some returns. So yeah, I'm not, too fast with those two. I'd prefer Odegaard in my team right now ahead of Martinelli if I could do the switch. But I'm happy with Saka. I went with him on the wild card in game week 17. Finally, in the midfield, I've got Rashford, who is my captain. He's got Crystal Palace at home and then Leeds at home as well. Again, 2 nice fixtures for Rashford and Man United. Rashford's on fire right now, scoring pretty much in every fixture. And yeah, I think he is going to be my captain, guys. Let me know what your plans are, guys, in the chat. Are you going to captain Rashford? Are you going to go Haaland against Spurs? I'd be interested to know your thoughts, so do put it in the chat. But yeah, I've gone Rashford just because of his form, and the fixtures look very nice. And being at home as well, it makes me want to go there. And I think, standout for me is the Rashford captaincy pick. Finally, up front, I've got Erling Haaland against Tottenham away. I think that could be a tough game. I can see Haaland scoring in that one, don't get me wrong. but I'm hoping Rashford can outscore him because Rashford has the 2 fixtures, of course. But we'll see with Man City. Cancelo just left. Are they going to buy anyone else? It doesn't look like it. Not that Cancelo was playing anyway, but we'll see with Haaland. But it's a decent fixture for him. And then Mitrovic up front has got Chelsea away, which I'm not too worried about. I think Mitrovic can score against Chelsea. But yeah, he's going to stay for now, I think. Finally, on the bench, I've got Everson, Ben White. I've got Greenwood, who does have a double game week, but I don't really want to play him because he doesn't play many minutes anyway. So, he might play 10, 15 minutes in both those games, which isn't really worth starting, in my opinion. So he's on the bench, and then Patterson's injured. So I do have 2 free transfers as well for Game Week 22. And I also have a bit in the bank. So yeah, so currently what my transfer plans are is to take out Cancelo. I've mentioned that. That's obvious. Cancelo has to go. So he's number 1 priority. And then secondly, my plan is to take out Mason Mount. So I'll just show the graphics. So Cancelo and Mason Mount will be going out my team. And then I'll be replacing them with Sven Botman and Bruno Fernandes. So those are the 2 players I think I'm looking to bring in for those 2. So Mason Mount and Cancelo, Botman and Fernandes. Let me know your thoughts, guys. What you think? So yeah, why Botman? I think everyone's got Trippier. So, having Trippier doesn't really matter. If Trippier gets a double-digit return, unless you captained him or something like that, he doesn't really make an effect to your rank. So I'm hoping having double Newcastle defense, it could get me ahead of the pack where most people only have 1 Newcastle defender. But I know Newcastle do have a blank in game 25, but I'll have to, figure out what I'm going to do when it comes to that. But I think I am going to keep Botman right now. I could go Nathan Ake or someone like that for Man City, but I'm not sure. They're not keeping many clean sheets. And I think Botman and Newcastle's defense has been really good. And I can see another clean sheet against West Ham in game week 22. Finally, moving on to Bruno Fernandes, who has Palace and Leeds, as mentioned. I think he is another player that we should be definitely looking to bring into our team. As mentioned with Rashford, Bruno is also, a player that he's returned quite a lot recently in recent weeks. As you saw, he's actually outscored Salah and KDB since game week 17. So that's a good, positive. And he's getting involved. He's popping up with the odd goal, the odd assist. He's just taking over nicely. And I know, Jordan, you are an owner of Fernandes since game week 17, and he's helped your rank out a lot. And I think he's one player that you're going to need in game week 22 just because of many nice fixtures. And he's, for me, nailed into my team. I don't see me going without him for this game week. So, yeah, 100% Fernandes is coming into my team, as well as Botman, I think, for now. So, yeah, that is the team, guys, pretty much for double game week 22. That leaves me with 0.9 million in the bank as well, which is, a decent amount to have. And, I will have only 1 transfer for double game week 23. The reason I've kept De Bruyne, as I mentioned, he does double in 23 as well as the Arsenal boys. So, we'll have to see on that. But yeah, that is the team for now. Let's bring up your team, Jordan. Talk us through your transfer plans as well, and how you're looking to line up for double game week 22.
Okay, so yeah, I'm very excited for this game week 22 team. But yeah, let's go through it. So we'll start with Edison, who has Tottenham away. It's going to be a pretty tricky fixture for a clean sheet, I think, in that one. I mean, Man City haven't had many clean sheets this season so far, only, I think, getting 5 or 6. So it's been very, very limited for clean sheets from Man City. So it will be interesting to see if they can stop Tottenham from scoring against them. But I'm not very hopeful for that because Man City kind of do have a leaky defence, letting in 1 or maybe 2 goals here and there. But hopefully Edison's on form in that game. Moving on to the back 3. I think this is a pretty standard back 3. We've got Ben White, who has Everton away. Now we know Sean Dyche has now been appointed as the new Everton manager, so that could potentially give Everton a bit of a boost going forward. But as it is a fixture against Arsenal, It's not the greatest one to start your managing role, especially on the form Arsenal are on currently. But I do expect Arsenal to not be affected by this at all. I think Everton will probably definitely lose that game. I don't really see them winning against Arsenal. Clean sheets, though, I'm kind of hoping they might keep the clean sheet because any ever time I've benched Ben White, he's always got a clean sheet for me. So this is pretty much going to be very unlucky if he doesn't get a clean sheet now that I'm starting him in game week 22 against Everton, but we'll see. Moving on to Trippier, he does have West Ham at home. West Ham did play yesterday, in fact, so whether that affects their match day against Newcastle, because it is a short term, because they have played just now and they yet to play at the weekend. Besides that, though, it doesn't really do much if Trippier does get a clean sheet, as we have spoken about. His ownership has been sky high since his many returns and double hauls and bonus points. So there's not much to say about Trippier. I mean, even if he does get points, it's not really going to change much for our ranks. It's like having Haaland in your team. Pretty much we all own that player, so it's not really going to affect it. But yeah, I kind of expect Trippier to keep a clean sheet in that, and maybe some people may captain him. Who knows? Moving on to Luke Shaw, who does have again another double game week. Crystal Palace at home and Leeds away, so a nice 2 home fixtures for Man United against Crystal Palace again, but this one is thankfully a home fixture, so I can't imagine the same result as the 1-1 draw they did get in the first match against them away. So I'm pretty sure they'll do much better in this home fixture. Now, there has been some questions about Luke Shaw because he hasn't been seen or heard from Man United at all. He hasn't been featured on the bench, even in the starting 11 in the past 2 matches in other competitions. And a lot of people question what's happened to Luke Shaw. And as far as we know, he's just ill. Like, he's been suffering with a bug. I don't think it's injury related, but Man United haven't really spoken about the topic much, but we're assuming it is down to just him being unwell, and he should be fine for the Crystal Palace at home fixture.
Also, I was going to add, Manchester United obviously play today. They kick off in about 40 minutes time, and I don't think Luke Shaw's playing either in that fixture, so I don't think he's even in the squad. So that don't give much away.
No.
But here's hoping that he can play in that double game week. But yeah, Man United. Sorry, tomorrow they play, don't they?
Yeah, I think Newcastle playing tonight and
yeah
play tomorrow.
My bad. I mean, so what I was gonna say is watch out for that fixture and see if he's fit.
Yeah, I think by Friday we should know what's the situation with Luke Shaw. I imagine Ten Hag doesn't want to take a risk, like he's not taking a risk with Rashford when playing him for 90 minutes. I think it's just a little keep safe just for these next fixtures, because Man United do have a contested amount of fixtures coming up, as we have spoken about. They do play tomorrow as well. But yeah,
I don't know why I said they play today. I meant tomorrow.
It has been a madness of other competitions in football.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the defence talking about. We'll move on to the midfield, the 5 midfielders. So we start with Martinelli, who has been surprisingly transferred out by a lot of managers, and it's quite surprising because he does have Everton away. And I feel like in the past matches, Martinelli's been against very tough opponents in this position. And the fact that he's against Coleman in this Everton game does give a bit of insight that he will have a better game, because Coleman is much more older than Martinelli, literally like comparatively like a father to him in terms of age. So with that in mind, fresh legs for Martinelli against Coleman, who is like Milner. He's pretty old and tired and whatnot, and Everton haven't been great. I think he could have a good game against Everton away. This could be the game where he does get a return finally after blanking these past few game weeks, and it's only a matter of time because Arsenal have been returning. It's just not been for Martinelli in particular, but I'm very hopeful that he can get something from the Everton away game. Moving on to Almiron, who is another player that's been transferred out a lot this week, very heavily. I mean, his fixtures that he has next: West Ham at home, and then Bournemouth after that. I wouldn't really be considering taking out Almiron, but I do understand that a lot of people are taking him out for Mitoma, who is having the stormer. I mean, he scored a nice goal against Liverpool in the other competition, and yeah, I think that swayed a lot of people to take out Almiron, who has, same as Martinelli, has blanked a lot. I mean, he's had chances to score, but hasn't really been able to finish them. So I think that's probably where it's coming from, where Almiron's not getting the points, but Matoma is currently, and I see why the sort of the appeal has swayed away from Almiron now and has gone towards Matoma. But with West Ham as well struggling, I know they did win yesterday in the other competition, but Newcastle have been really good this season, and with West Ham not being great in the Premier League, I think it's going to be yet another good game from Almiron in that one. Moving on to the Man United duo, so we've got Fernandez and Rashford, who both have double game week fixtures. Crystal Palace and Leeds both at home, and yeah, there's not much talk about Fernandez because I've mentioned him pretty much every game week for people just to bring him in. I mean, he's been a great asset since I've had him after the World Cup. He has not failed to disappoint me at all. I mean, it's been probably the best transfer I've made in my team. It's contributed a lot to my rank as it stands at the moment. And yeah, since Ronaldo's left, I mean, Fernandez has come out of his shell, similarly to like Rashford has. Literally, both of them have been great for Man United. They've really excelled in their performances and form prior to what they were before. And yeah, I think they'll do very well in these two fixtures. Potentially captain worthy choices as well, especially Rashford, who also could be a chip worthy player to be selected as a triple captain option as well, because I know a few people will be looking towards that too. But also Fernandez could be just a standard captain option over Haaland. So yeah, both of those I feel like I'm going to do really well. Potentially double haul from those two double game week fixtures. Moving on to last midfielder, we do have Rodrigo, who hasn't had really much fortune, especially when I've brought him in to my team. He hasn't really done much for me. I mean, he hasn't scored, got an assist since I've had him. He's pretty much blanked most games, but I think this is last chance saloon, this double game week for Rodrigo. I mean, if he doesn't get any returns from either Nottingham Forest away or Man United away, I could be potentially getting rid of him afterwards because Bamford seems to be getting more fortune than Rodrigo is, which sort of is the problem that I anticipated when he returned back from injury. But with the double, I am hopeful, especially for the first fixture, Nottingham Forest away, who on paper looks really good for Leeds, and especially in particular Rodrigo. Man United one is potentially a harder one that I could see him getting much in, but if he can get at least one goal or something from the Nottingham Forest away game, I think it's a bonus if he does get something against Man United away. So yeah, it's pretty much last chance saloon for Rodrigo, and hopefully he can do well in his double game week fixture. Moving on to the front two forwards that I've gone with, and that is the first one is Nketiah, who has Everton away. I'm not going to make the same mistake as last week and bench Nketiah after getting that 13-pointer against Man United. I think that's just proved that Nketiah is not a player you want to bench just from the performance and form that he's currently on. I think he has outscored, or not outscored, he's outpointed Saka and Martinelli in the past few game weeks, especially from scoring those 2 goals in the last game against Man United. I think he's a great asset to have in your team, especially in that third Arsenal slot if you're tripling up on. I think definitely Nketiah is one of them that you want to have, especially with his low ownership, because that won't be for long anymore. A lot of people are bringing them in. Nketiah, he's almost going to be over 10% owned or even more come near the deadline. So yeah, I think you have a great game against Everton away. Moving on to finally Haaland, who does have Tottenham away. And this is potentially I'll say a difficult fixture, but you can never tell with Haaland what he's going to do in each game, especially when coming off that hat trick against Wolves in that single game week fixture. Where before that, when he had a double, he got less points in that double combined in the single fixture against Wolves where he scored the hat trick. So that is half why I've put the captaincy over Haaland instead of putting it on a double game week player, which seems crazy to do, but at the same time not crazy to do because we've seen Haaland can do a lot of damage, especially last game week where he got the hat trick. And for those who went against Haaland, it was very damaging for their ranks. And I feel like it's still too risky to take it off of Haaland, even though Rashford and Fernandes and Shaw have two fixtures. I still think Haaland could do something in that Tottenham game that can even match or even outscore Rashford or Fernandes or any other asset that has a double in game week 22. So he has got the captaincy armband over him, and I don't think that's going to change for me. But yeah, that is pretty much my starting 11. I'll talk about my team bench quickly. So I got Ward, who has Aston Villa away. Not expecting a clean sheet from Leicester in that game, if I'm honest. We've got Tony, who's got Southampton at home. Nice fixture for Tony and Brentford as well. I think he could do well in that game. We've got Lewis Dunk, who's got Bournemouth at home. Great fixture for Brighton to get a clean sheet in. And Ben Mee, who's got Southampton at home, which, again, clean sheet worthy there as well, especially with a home fixture. So, that is my team bench briefly talked about and my starting 11. I am going forward with 2 free transfers and a lot of money in the bank with 5.8 million, and my team value is 97.4. So, yeah, you're probably wondering what I could do with this team because, to be honest, I looked at this team and thought there's not much I could really do with it, but I did find a solution to spend my transfer on, and the transfer I'm potentially doing is on Danny Ward, the goalkeeper on my team bench. Now, you're probably wondering, why am I doing a transfer on a bench player? Well, I'll come to that in a minute. But yeah, Danny Ward is going to be my transfer for this game week 22. And I'll just move on to the next slide to show you who I've transferred in through him. And so this is the transfer that I've decided to go with. So I've gone with the Leeds goalkeeper, Meslier, who does have a double game week. As we know, Leeds do double as well. So he will have Nottingham Forest away and Man United away. And he does swap positions with Edison going forward. So he is in the starting 11 now. And Edison is now on the bench. And you may notice as well that I've decided to activate one of my chips, and that is my bench boost. So I will be activating my bench boost in game week 22, which does include Edison, who has Tottenham away, Tony, who has Southampton at home, Dunk, who has Bournemouth at home, and Ben Mee, who has Southampton at home. So those players will be available as I'm using the bench boost in double game week 22. And I will only be using one free transfer. I will be rolling in the other, as I don't really necessarily need to use 2 this week, because I do have 5 double game week players going into this game week. So I think that's pretty much enough for this game week. So yeah, nothing much else I need to do for my team apart from that one free transfer and activating my bench boost. So yeah, that is pretty much how I'm going forward into game week 22.
Okay, nice. Bench boost activated potentially. So yeah, interesting. Melia as well in. Yeah. We should take some questions now, I think. So I missed a few of your questions, guys. We're not ignoring anyone. We'd like to come back afterwards and read all your questions out. So yeah, let's do that. Kwanda says, good evening, lads. I will have to take a -8 to shake my team well. Hopefully you don't need to take that big of a hit. Says Cancelo, Salah, Zaha, and Nunez will all sell. To be fair, I wouldn't want those 4 probably in my team right now. I mean, Cancelo, you've got to get rid of, I think, for sure. Obviously, now he's been loaned out. Maybe you can try keep one of the Liverpool players for one more week just to avoid a big hit. But I do understand what you're saying. Zinchenko or White in a wild card? Um, any thoughts, Jordan? I'll still probably say Ben White, maybe.
Well, at the start,
Actually no. I'd go Gabriel. Not either of them. I'd go Gabriel instead. So yeah, that's my opinion. Gabriel.
I would go with Zinchenko. I did have him in game week 1, and he did do well for me. And I do like his spirit, Zinchenko, when he does play. Yeah, I do prefer him.
Yeah, fair enough. Kwanda, Bruno, KDB, Nketiah, and a 7.4 million left for a Man City defender should be Ake. I don't know what he means by that. Manish, removing KDB for Bruno. Yeah, you could do. I'm fortunate enough to have both by taking Mount out, but the only thing is KDB does have a double game week in game week 23, so unless you don't want him for then, you could just take him out. Chief with a comment, finally transferring in Bruno. Yeah, I am. It's about time, I think. Bringing him in with ahead of his double. I'll let you take this question, Jordan.
Animations. Hey lads, been thinking about taking Almiron out for Mitoma and bringing in Bruno for Salah for a -4. Not sure though. Thoughts? Yeah, I did speak about this Almiron out for Mitoma. It's been like the most popular transfer, I think, for Almiron because he has had a lot of transfers out, and I imagine that is for Mitoma, most of them. Bringing in Bruno for Salah, yeah, I quite like that. Bruno, I say, is a must-have, especially for this double game week. For -4, I do like it for -4. I think that can really pay off because Mitoma does have Bournemouth at home, which is a very nice fixture for him. He could do well in that. And obviously Bruno has the double, which are both home fixtures for Man United too. So yeah, I don't see why not. Animations, I like that -4.
Alex, would you do Mitrovic to Nketiah for a -4 this week instead of doing it next week for the double? I'd probably just keep Mitrovic against Chelsea, maybe for 1 week, rather than take the double, rather than take the hit and then bring in Nketiah in next week for free if you can. Would you be the same, Jordan, or would you just take the hit to take Mitrovic out?
I'll probably keep him in, if I'm honest, for this week. Just what you could do against Chelsea, and then take him out next week and bring Nketiah in.
Yeah,
for the minus
for the free transfer next week.
For the free transfer, yeah, I'll probably do that instead.
NW Soccer captain Luke Shaw. I mean, you could do. I mean, not for me. I'd prefer Rashford and even Bruno Fernandes. I think they're both good captain options if you want to go Man United. But yeah, Luke Shaw. I mean, if he gets 2 clean sheets, he could be worth it. But I wouldn't. Not for me. I'd rather go with the attacking player of Man United. Almiron out for Mudryk. Not for me. Not yet. Anyway, I think we have to see with Mudryk and Chelsea as well. So for me, it's wait and see. What about this, Jordan? Harrison of Leeds or Anthony for a differential this week?
Naturally, I would pick Anthony. Obviously, I'm a Man United fan. I do prefer Anthony as a differential pick. I thought about it actually to go with Anthony, but I did go with Fernandes instead. But Anthony for differential is really good, especially for this double. I mean, you could easily get a nice long ranger as he has done before, and yeah, he's quite good.
Yeah, I mean, I like Anthony over Harrison as well. I think Anthony's got the better fixtures, 2 home games, and he should start both of them. So if you want to be different, you're chasing rank, let's say in your mini league, you are a bit behind, I'd be tempted to go with Anthony. I would love to keep Salah because Fernandes blanks in 25. Not completely sure. No, I wouldn't be keeping Salah, if I'm honest. I think Fernandes has a double, and that double for me is very nice. Palace and Leeds, and Salah's not playing well as Liverpool. So for me, that's an easy transfer. I wouldn't be holding Salah. But it's obviously up to you. Alex, Haaland hasn't scored against any of the top 6 away from home this season. In response to you, Jordan, I think. He says they are great fixtures for bench boost, but you're going to regret. He says potentially in a big double game week. And he also asks who scores more, Bruno and Akanji or Salah and Martinez. Just on that one, I'll probably go with Bruno and Akanji. I don't see Salah as a good option really right now, if I'm honest. So yeah, I think Bruno definitely is a double game week, and Akanji had the double game week in 23. So for me, it's easy that one, Bruno. But yeah, what about this Haaland? I mean, I don't know what you think. I didn't realize that if that is true, but I wouldn't really that put me off.
No, especially the way Tottenham have been letting in goals. Especially, I know that he didn't score against Tottenham at home, which you'd say is even worse that he has them away now. But I don't consider Tottenham at the moment a top 6 team. If I'm honest, I feel like they're struggling as much as Chelsea are, Liverpool, and other potential top teams. And again, I don't really go with those statistics if that makes sense. I mean, I just go on the basis of what feels right and what my gut is saying to go with. And so far, it's...
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I was going to add, Haaland's proven that he can kind of do it in any game. So, yeah, I do hear it as well, both sides.
But, yeah, it will be interesting to see what he does against Tottenham away. I mean, I'll be very surprised if he does blank in that, but I really don't trust Tottenham's defence to really hold up against Haaland.
Fair enough. Well, it's going to be a good game week, either double. So I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, we'll see how it all goes, guys. Game week 22. It is a Friday deadline as well for those that don't know. I'm just going to quickly check what time it is as well. It's a 6:30 p.m. UK deadline. So we'll be going live around 5:30. So make sure you join us, guys, Friday at 5:30 p.m. UK time for the deadline stream, as always. So it should be good. Make sure you do tune in. I'm sure we'll be busy as always. But yeah, we're probably going to wrap the stream up here. A couple more questions coming in. Abhishek says, I fear a KDB benching against Spurs. Like if we hopefully not, but if we hear anything early, KDB will be going for me. But yeah, I hope not. I know he didn't start in the first game. Sorry, the other game, didn't he?
Yeah.
The home game, he didn't start. I'm hoping he starts this one, but we'll see. Thomas, do you know something more about Martial? He has gone from orange to yellow flag now. Nah, I'll just avoid him potentially. Potentially. I'll just avoid him completely.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there, Thomas. I mean, even if he does manage to be fit enough, he won't play in both doubles.
Yeah.
Ten Hag won't risk that for Martial.
Yeah, even if he's fit, for one, you'd expect him to miss the other one for Weghorst, who now... Weghorst could be a sleeper option, you never know. For those that want to be very risky and go for someone like that.
Yeah, Weghorst did score in the FA... Or was it Carabao?
FA Cup.
Oh, it was FA Cup. Yeah, he did score in that game as well. So good to get. He was on the goal sheet for that game. So maybe that maybe he's underlooked.
Yeah. But yeah, I think another question's coming in. Or he said, I'll take this last one and then we'll wrap the stream up. Which of the 3 options to go for? Nketiah, Mahrez, Rodrigo, Gononto, Mahrez, Odegaard, Gononto, Mahrez, Saka. Probably, I don't know really. So the one with Odegaard has Gononto, Mahrez, and Odegaard. I think I'd go there. Gononto, Mahrez, and Odegaard for me. If I had to pick, I think
I would go with the first option because I like Nketiah in that pick, and especially Rodrigo, who is a bit of an underlooked player as well. So I'll probably go with the first option: Nketiah, Mahrez, and Rodrigo.
I mean, you've got 2 of them, so yeah, definitely. But yeah, we'll probably wrap it up here. We've just gone over 40 minutes. I didn't realize we've been on stream this long, but yeah. hopefully you guys do join us, as I said, on the deadline stream on Friday. But that's it from us. I'll take this off the screen. Just want to add, thank you guys for all watching. If you have enjoyed the stream, please don't forget to drop a like on the video. It really helps support our channel, and all your likes are appreciated by us. So do drop a like, and also if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any content. We're streaming 2-3 times a week. We'll be back to our normal schedule. FA Cup's pretty much over, and yeah, good to go. And yeah, anything else you'd like to add, Jordan, before we do wrap it up?
Just thanks for everyone for commenting. It's always appreciated. Thanks for watching the stream throughout. And yeah, have a nice rest of the week, and we'll see you Friday for the very exciting deadline stream.
Yep. Thank you guys, and see you soon.